Quick recap on Saturday. I think most of y'all saw it. Some of you were there, unfortunately, probably, but we were soundly beaten by a good Missouri team. I think they were clearly better than us on Saturday, and I can handle losing. I don't like it, but I can handle it. What I'm disappointed, and this is what I kind of hit on after the game, what I'm disappointed about that in that game was a couple things. Our inability to do what we were coached to do and our lack of physicality. Those are the two biggest disappointments for me. Quick recap, I'll hit all three phases. Special teams, negatives first. I felt like on the opening kickoff we had an opportunity to take advantage of the way they lined up, and we hit a poor kick. We were trying to steal a possession there, but didn't execute that. It was there. And then we continue to be inconsistent punting the ball. It's not bad. It's just inconsistent. We got to get a little bit more distance and be able to flip some field positions. The positives are they had 0 return yards for the day. The punt returner Missouri has is talented. I think we had 4 fair catches, and we had an explosive kickoff return. And that's a unit that's really we've blocked well in that unit. We got to continue to do that, but we had an explosive return, set up what could have been an opportunity for points, but we didn't protect very well in the play after it. Defensively, the negatives, 232 yards rushing. We're going to struggle to win any game where we give up that kind of yardage in the rushing. We had 0 takeaways, and then we had 5 missed sacks. We had 5 times where we had Kelly Bryant behind the line of scrimmage. I think 3 of them may have been on third downs. And then we had 22 missed tackles for the game. And most of those happened on those 5 consecutive scoring drives there in the first and second quarter. The positives defensively, we limited their big plays. They had very few of those. I thought our pass coverage was better, maybe as good as it's been over fall camp in the first 2 games. And then I thought our defensive kids really competed hard in the second half, gave up no points, and they played their first unit for a while. And I thought our defensive guys hung in there and played with a much better competitive spirit. Offensively, negatives, 3 interceptions, led directly to 21 points. We had some, I guess our second, third, and fourth drives there offensively were productive drives. All of them were 6+ plays, I think. And two of those 3 ended up in one of them's a missed field goal, 2 of them's interception, and then Jack's pick 6 there in the fourth quarter. Run game's non-existent. I'm sure I haven't been reading much, but I'm sure y'all have talked about that. And then too many negative yardage plays. Our quarterback got hit way too much in the game on Saturday. Positives, we had 0 fumbles. In our third downs, we actually were good on third downs. We had we had several third down conversions there when we were playing decent offense there in the first and second quarter. So wrap up, just finishing this one up. Again, disappointed in our performance, by no means discouraged in the direction we're going. I think that this is our first real test. This is the first real adversity that this football team's had. And how do we handle it? I think that's the question. How do we handle it? How do we respond? I think this week will be a good indication of where we're at as far as being able to respond to things that don't necessarily go our way. Growth occurs in failure, and we failed on Saturday. And so it's time to get better. Quick injury update, kind of wrapping up the game on Saturday. Taj Austin had surgery this morning. He had a torn patella tendon. He will be out for the year. Okay, so unfortunate for him. Thought he was playing well. The block on him was fine. It wasn't what I would deem a dirty play by any means. Just one of those things that happen. So unfortunate for him. He'll be out for the year. We do get Letty Brown back today. He'll practice full speed today, and he will be available to go on Saturday. So that's a positive. Turning the page to NC State. Big game for us. They're 2-0. Dave Doran, I think, has done a great job with that program. He's entering year 7, and you can tell that as you look at their roster, they've got, if you watch them play and you look at their roster, 2 things that stick out to me is they've done a great job recruiting and evaluating. They have quality depth across the board, and they've done a really good job developing guys. So they're a program that I look at as far as how they've recruited and really built that up. They're coming off 2 9-win seasons in a row. They've got the second most wins in the ACC outside of Clemson. That's not talked about much, but last 2 years, second most wins in the Atlantic Coast Conference. They're well coached. They're disciplined. Kind of touch base on them in the 3 phases. Special teams, solid across the board. The special teams coordinator was at Marshall, so some of you all may know about the schemes that he ran there. A year ago, we got a freshman long snapper that's really impressive. is probably as good as anybody we'll face all year from a long snap, and he's a true freshman. Really gets the ball back there, and he's accurate. The kicker's done a nice job. He's been really consistent. They've got a new punter that punted for the first 2 games, and he's done a really good job. Offensively, they're balanced. If you look at them, I think 545 passing, 500 rushing. They're physical up front. They had multiple years in a row with 1,000+ yard rushers. They want to establish the run. They're running back by committee. They've got a freshman that rushed for 100 yards last week. He's their leading rusher. His kid named Knight. I think he's impressive. But again, all 4 of them, they rotate back there. Good-looking players. Quarterback, first-time starter this year is McKay, and he's accurate. He's a really big kid. I think there's a lot of similarities to the kid we just played, honestly. Good athlete, got a strong arm, can make the throws. He's done a nice job leading them. I think he threw for 300+ yards in his first career start, so that's impressive. Their O-line has depth. They've been really well coached by the current coach and by the guy that was O-line coach there previously. And then they're big tight ends, and they use them. And they do a nice job of getting them involved vertically in the pass game, and the receivers quality group. Okay, defensively, they haven't given up a touchdown all year. I think they're one of 2 teams, maybe them in Wisconsin, that haven't given up a touchdown. They've changed schematically. For a long time, Coach Huxtable there, the defense coordinator, been a 4-down front team. They've changed. They're a 3-down front team now. They're very good on the D-line. 2 guys that really stick out are the Murchison kid and then Smith Williams. And Smith Williams is, they've had a great run of defensive linemen there, and going into the season, and they've really promoted him as being kind of their next guy, and I can see that. He's a really good player. Both those guys are high-end defensive linemen. They've done a really good job through 2 games creating pressure, creating negative plays. They've allowed 49 rushing yards in 2 games, 49 rushing yards. So they run well at linebacker, and I think their secondary has been active, a lot of cover 3, and they come down and trigger really hard. So great challenge for us. Kind of wrapping this up, great challenge for us. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting our team back. I think it's one of the challenges in coaching is bouncing back from when things don't go your way, and that's where we're at. It's our Hall of Fame weekend, and some people that are getting inducted with football ties. Steve Dunlap, great player here. I probably didn't realize he was as good a player. I known him as a coach and really respect him for what he's done as a coach, but just researching over the last week or so what kind of player he was, really impressive. And then John Thornton, 10+ years in the NFL, 4-year starter here, Jalen's dad. So big weekend for that family. And then Meg Bulger, I think she worked our first game at JMU and one of the great West Virginia athletic families. Think about this, 3rd Bulger getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. That's pretty remarkable, really. So congrats to that group. And then we've got our annual Gold Rush game. So I encourage our fans, wear gold, we'll wear gold. And then 12:05 kick. So just hope our fans show up early. I hope they don't get too frustrated by last week's outcome. I hope they show up and they're loud, and we need a great home field advantage taking on a quality NC State team. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
You indicated yesterday you may do some juggling in your lineup. You want to expound upon what you're thinking?
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're just going to give a bunch of guys opportunities on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we're going to make those jobs competitive. We've got to figure out who the best 5 are up front. Outside of Colt McKivitz, I'm not real fired up about how any of them are playing. So we're going to give some other guys some opportunities. Bryson Mays, John Hughes, James Committer, those guys are going to get some opportunities up front. At running back, we're going to go and give those other guys. I think Sinkfield, I thought he ran the ball the best of any of them that played on Saturday. And then we get Letty back, who's a physical guy. That's one thing I don't have to worry about him is he is physical. And so we're going to do that. We're going to let the young wide receivers have a chance, and Winston Wright and Ollie Jennings, they'll play for the first time this week. And then on defense, and Jordan Jefferson will be a guy that we're going to get more involved in what we're doing. So those are some guys just right off the cuff here.
How different a presence do you have as an offense with Letty Brown in there as far as physicality goes?
Well, I think he's a tough guy. We lack some toughness right now. That's one of the things I think I talked about being disappointed with what we were on Saturday. I think that Missouri was way more physical than us, and so he's a tough guy. I like that about him. He's rusty. He hadn't done much football in about 4 weeks. Okay, so, but he's kind of looked kind of slowly been getting back to it. To today, will be his first full speed practice rep. So,
And, when you have a game that's kind of getting away from you like it was in the fourth quarter,
Yep.
you had like two different experiences. I was curious how you handle them. Like Timmons and Sinkfield went in and did, I think, was probably good stuff, right? But Jack comes in and has a mistake there, and they're probably both important parts of what you want to do moving forward, and they're totally different ways
Yeah.
to handle it too. How do you
yeah.
play all
So
16 and treat it important?
yeah, I think so. With Timmons did a really good job, which is good pickup by you. He came in and did a really good job. And he earned himself more playing time. All right. And then Sinkfield came in, and honestly, we should have got Sinkfield in the mix earlier. We have not ran the ball well enough. Okay, and the O-line's easy to pick on. But let me tell you something. In the run game, our running backs, our tight ends, and our wide receivers have been every bit the issue as the O-line in the run game. Okay, we have not blocked well. We have not ran the ball hard. We have not been physical on the edge. So that's all involved, okay, with the run game. And then with Jack right there, I wanted to get him in the game. And really, we ran a day one pass play, and he threw an out cut into cover two. And I'm not quitting on him, but we can't do that. That's one of those deals where we're clearly doing something that we're not coached to do. I love the kid. He's still getting reps, but we're not going to reward people for those kind of plays. But he's still right there in the mix.
You mentioned the punt game. What parts of it did you not think you're executing well, and specifically on the row rugby punt? Are you trying to?
Yeah, we just got to get
across?
more distance. Yeah, we got to get more distance on our rugby kicks. We've got to get more hang time when we're directionally punting. You know, I think Josh hit 2 really good punts and 3 that got to be better. You know, and if you look at the first week, he hit some that he hit really well, some that he didn't. And we've got to do a better job getting the ball and giving our cover guys, because that's one thing that we're doing. The strength of our team right now is we're really covering kicks well.
But you want to keep mixing it up, kind of keep.
Oh
the
yeah,
ball
we're gonna
away.
keep people off balance. We're gonna be we'll be something different every week punt wise.
Neal, this week you're preparing for a coordinator who recruited the bulk of your defense, knows your offense, lobbied for the job you're in.
Yep.
How do you deal with a situation like that?
Well, I'd say he knows our personnel. That's the thing. I mean, he does. He knows the personnel. You know, hopefully a lot of these guys have improved. Now, some of the personnel that's playing he never necessarily worked with. But I think Tony's a really good coach. I think he's done a really good job recruiting. I think that's been documented. I think he did a really solid job here. And he does know our personnel. I'm sure this game will be mean a lot to him, being a West Virginia native and coming back. But once the ball snapped, I'm not sure any of it matters, to be honest with you. I think he does have some there are some influence. He has some influence defensively, just because they were switching to a 3-down front. He has experience in 3-down front. But I think this game will mean something to him. But once the ball snapped, I'm not sure that it'll have a great deal of effect on either side, on the player side of it.
Do you see any of the stack principles in that at all with their 3-down front?
Yeah, they have a little bit. You know, I think every 3-down team has some stack principles depending on what formation you're in. You know, whether you're in a 2x2 or a 3x1 set. So yeah, I think there are some principles there. I don't think that's what they primarily do. Yeah.
Neal, with Taj out, you still have 2 defensive ends who've played a good bit, but do you need a third? Who do you think would be the third?
Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit of kind of tryouts for that this week. We can kind of mix up our fronts and give some different looks. But we feel good with what Pooler and Ruben have both done in there. We've been playing about a third of snaps anyway. One thing we won't be able to do probably moving forward, we played several snaps against James Madison, a few, but several versus James Madison with 2 defensive ends. We probably won't be able to do that moving forward.
Neal, it seemed like when you guys were able to move the ball a little bit Saturday, you were getting the ball to Sam James. What have you seen out of him maybe?
Yeah, Sam James played really well for the first half, and he played really well. He blocked well. He was our best player clearly for the entire first half. He's explosive. I thought he did a good job getting the DB's hands off of him, which is something we've emphasized. And so I think he'll continue to grow. You know, and I was pleased. He didn't play as well against James Madison. Came back in the first half of that game and played really well.
How does NC State defensively compare to Missouri personnel-wise? Is there any similarities there in terms of?
Missouri kind of dabbled. They kind of bounced back and forth, 3 down to 4 down. I think defensive line-wise, I think I hit on this a little bit at the beginning, is both schools have really done a good job of recruiting and developing defensive line. And if you look across the board, people that play good defensively, I mean, that's what it is, man. You got to have difference makers on the defensive line. Missouri had the Elliott kid that completely dominated the line of scrimmage on Saturday. They've got 2, and the nose that NC State plays is capable of being dominant at times as well. So if you look at it, I think both of them have really good personnels. The schematics of it are different, so it's kind of hard to it's not apples to apples.
You mentioned after the game, you said you expect a lot of press man coverage, load the box. You still expect that this weekend?
It's the press man stuff. It's more just it's not necessarily all press man. It's just one-on-one. Yeah, they're gonna play. People are going to put us in one-on-one situations until we win. I mean, this coaching stuff sometimes not rocket science. You know what I mean? And until we win some one-on-ones, it's going to be hard. And I mean that in the run game, probably more so in the pass game, because we've won our fair share in the pass game.
TJ didn't get targeted till late in the first half. Were they doing anything?
TJ Simmons?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got to play better. He got to play faster, got blocked better. He got to play better. Got to get open.
When you lose a game like that, when you get beat really badly, you got to walk a fine line, I guess, between thinking it's the end of the world and also knowing that it isn't the end of the world. That there's a whole season left to play. How do you handle that? How do you approach it?
No, I think people want truth. So we try to deal with complete honesty here. We had meetings all day yesterday where we basically, you show them the video, man. You can't lie to them. They see it on the video. So you confront it with brutal honesty. You present a plan about how we're going to get better. And that's it, And it's over today. We flipped the page yesterday, 5 o'clock, or 4:25 or something like that, when we started our NC State. And you move on, and you try to work on the things that you're going to continue to see until you improve on. And you got to, I'll tell you, here's the non-negotiables. We're going to play hard, which I thought we did an okay job of that. We're going to do what we're coached to do, which I didn't think we did a very good job of that. We're going to be a tougher football team, which I thought we did a very poor job of that. And we're going to be invested in what we're doing, which I think we've been average at that. And so those are the things that we're really focusing on. We're going to get prepared to play NC State, but the focal point for me is those 4 items I just talked about.
Neal, physical and playing tougher, that's twice you mentioned that after games now before the following game. Can
Yep.
you spin the hands on the clock any faster on that, or is it just
So
going along?
I think here's the deal. I don't think it's going to be an overnight deal. I don't think we're going to look just like our staff and I envision us. But it's something that we've got to continue to work on, and what happens is sometimes you're playing people that have never played before, so they're a little hesitant. Well, you can't be hesitant in this game. You absolutely cannot be hesitant. And you got to go. Like we had multiple times in the game defensively in the game on Saturday where you got to pull the trigger and go make a play. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. We had guys at the second and third levels kind of waiting back. Kelly Bryant's kind of moving around. Our running backs are out the flats. We got to go. We got to go pull the trigger and go down, get downhill and go make that play. The same thing. Let's say at tight end. You sit there and you're whatever type of block it is. You can't sit there and kind of wait and be cautious, man. You got to go seek the contact because the Garrett kid from Missouri, he was seeking contact. He was defeating blocks and getting to the football. You know what I'm saying? And you can't sit there and kind of spin your feet, man. You got to go initiate the contact. Same with running back. We had some holes there in the game. I'm not saying they're gaping holes, but there were holes where instead of being no gain runs, they should have been 3 and 4 yard plays. All right. And we come to balance where we should never be stopping. All right. We should be hitting the hole downhill with low pad level, and we're not doing those things. So those are some examples of what I'm talking about when I talk about being physical and And then the other thing too, like I'll give you an example on offensive line and pass pro. Like our pocket is getting compressed, and all it is about technique. You got to get your hands inside, all right, and you got to keep your base. It's a technique issue, all right, but it's also a toughness issue and saying, hey, I'm not going to give up ground. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to be compressed in my pass protection.
You know, 3 halves of action for Javani Haskins and main targets. I know the blocking part. For
Well,
him-
no, we targeted him. Remember, he had the one he had a chance to make a play on across the middle. There, we were under center. He got targeted twice on Saturday. So I think part of it's on us. So we got to do a better job. We got to do a better job working the middle of the field. All right. The first play of the game on Saturday really was called to get him the ball, and so we got to do a better job from a staff standpoint, working the middle of the field. I think that's something that we've denoted. Second thing is we got to get open. You know what I mean? But he was targeted twice on Saturday. He had a chance to make a play on the one. The other one he didn't.
Did you get a good explanation on Hakeem breaking, which
Yeah.
doesn't get hit in the back, could have been a pick 6, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not allowed. I guess I got a response from Greg. I'm not allowed to talk about Emma. Yeah, correct. So you can take that for what it's worth.